Hello, dear traders. Welcome to the weekly review of Trading Hero strategy results. This week, all portfolios made a profit. Let's start by reviewing each portfolio in detail. The $5,000 portfolio in the first version brought us 1% profit. The $5,000 portfolio in the second version also made a 1% profit. The $10,000 portfolio in the first version brought 0.44% profit. The $10,000 portfolio in the second version yielded 0.54%. The $10,000 portfolio in the third version made 0.76% profit. The $20,000 portfolio brought 0.6% profit. The $50,000 portfolio brought 0.78% profit. The $100,000 portfolio yielded 0.5%, and the $200,000 portfolio yielded 0.66%. Let's go to the MetaTrader platform and see how we traded this week. The first currency pair is the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. We are on the hourly time frame. The gray rectangle represents the previous week's trading area. Each vertical line represents one trading day. This week, we can see that the market continues to grow. We have been seeing the expected upward trend for several weeks in a row. There have been attempts to break through local support and move the market into consolidation, but buyers are still quite firmly entrenched at previous resistance levels. They tested support several times and moved into a new phase of consolidation. This week, we mostly opened sell trades as the market was rising, but there were also a few buy trades. Overall, this week's profit amounted to $952. The next currency pair is the Australian dollar against the New Zealand dollar. We have a very similar picture. The upward trend continues. Previous local highs have been renewed. We can say that by the end of the week, the price was almost at the previous week's close. The correction on Tuesday made it possible to close the chains of trades from the previous week. We continued to enter buy trades on Thursday, and Friday began to enter sell trades. This week's profit amounted to $403. The next currency pair is the Australian dollar against the US dollar. Similar to the previous two pairs, we also have a clear upward trend. New local highs were set, but the market failed to hold them and returned to the previous consolidation zone. Therefore, if the price continues to consolidate in this range, there is a high probability that the previous currency pairs will also go flat or even change their trend to a downward one. This week's profit was $298. The next currency pair is the euro against the British pound. We have a mirror situation for this asset. The price is declining, but if we look globally, we can say that this decline is quite natural, since on this time frame we can clearly see that the price has been in consolidation since September last year, and only after Trump announced new duties did it break through this corridor and reach the levels of July of the previous year. However, as we can see, after this rapid rise, the price could not hold on and return to the range. We are now at a very interesting level, as the price has tested it several times, and there is a chance that it could become a new support level and the price could move into a new range. This week's profit was $92. The next currency pair is the pound against the US dollar. For this asset, the price continues to be in consolidation, which it entered 3 weeks ago. We still have quite a few open trades for sale. To close them, we need the price to break through this corridor and move downward. If we look at the market dynamics, we can see that after an unsuccessful attempt to set new local highs and consolidate on them, this week the price has not risen to previous levels and has been moving very clearly downward all week. Therefore, from our point of view, there is a fairly high probability of a good correction next week. Moreover, if you look at the situation globally, the price is correcting from the highs of September 2024. From our point of view, there is a very high probability that the price will reach at least the middle of this price channel, which will allow us to close all existing sell trades with a profit. This week's profit amounted to $225. The next currency pair is the pound against the Canadian dollar. The situation is similar here. The price is in consolidation, but unlike the previous currency pair, we are moving upwards as the Canadian dollar is falling against the US dollar. We traded fairly safely all week in the middle of this price channel. This week's profit amounted to $170. The next currency pair is the US dollar against the Canadian dollar. As we can see, the market has broken out of the downtrend that has been forming over the past month quite impulsively and should test previous resistance levels next week. It is how the price behaves at these levels that will determine further movement in May. We have 2 open sell positions, and this week's profit was $93. The last currency pair is the New Zealand dollar against the Canadian dollar. This is the second asset for which we have gained positions since the beginning of April. The situation is quite similar. We have consolidation. So far, volatility is narrowing. There is no clear market direction, as with the pound, but given the global situation, we also have every chance of further correction as the price is testing a very strong level of resistance. And after another unsuccessful attempt to break through these levels, the market needs time to gain buy positions at better prices. And for this, the price needs to correct downward. Even if there is a second attempt to break through the previous local highs, from our point of view, it will only happen after a correction that will allow us to close all existing positions. This week's profit amounted to $568. Once again, we congratulate everyone on the profitable closing of this trading week and see you in the next video review.